Hey guys, what's going on? It's Rachel, back with another video. Today I am doing one side drugstore and the other side high-end. Kind of doing a versus to see what is similar, what you can kind of tell is different, things like that. I thought this was good because not everyone can afford the high-end, so being able to get great quality drugstore options is always a plus. So, if you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. You can also hit a notification bell. That way, if you're subscribed, every time I upload a new video, you'll get notified that I've done so. Ooh, excuse me. Alright, so without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so we'll start with primer. I'm going to do this side drugstore and then this side high end. So I kind of have my table set up that way, so that way I can just pick and pick and pick. Alright, so for drugstore primer, I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. Mineral Infused Face Primer. And oh god, even that's too much. I'm gonna really work it in because even that half pump felt like a lot. And then for high end, I'm gonna go in with the Makeup Forever Step 1 Skin Equalizer. I feel like they're both kind of like hand in hand. They have the same like silicone feel. The only difference is the Makeup Forever one is a little tinted where the e.l.f. one isn't. Beauty sponges I'm going to be using high-end Beauty Blender, and for drugstore this is the Eco Tools brush. Sponge. They're both very similar. The Beauty Blender one is a little bit more bouncier. Like if just squeezing them both down, this one picks back up just slightly quicker, but this is still a very good option. So for foundation, I tried to get a drugstore and a high-end that were like the same finish. So for drugstore, I'm going to use the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation. I've raved about this one before. I love it. Then for high-end, I'm going to be using the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Stick. I both feel like both the drugstore and the high-end have a natural finish to it. And there's a dog hair. Lovely. There we go. And this is in the shade Y315. This is my lightest shade. I normally prefer the liquid more, but the shade was just way too dark. I'm actually going to buff it out first. Oh, and just so you know, I have 2 sets of brushes, so high-end product isn't on the drugstore and vice versa. As you can see, they both have a natural sheen to it, which I really like. For concealer, for drugstore, I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Concealer. I don't really have too many drugstore concealers besides this and the Maybelline Fit Me, and that shade was way too dark for me right now, so gotta go with this one. I love this one for getting underneath the eyes because of its flat edge here. It's perfect for that. Then for high-end side, I'm using the Nars Soft Matte Complete Concealer. I feel like they give the same coverage. using two sponges is actually very challenging enough. Alright, so for loose powder, Drugstore, I'm going to go in with the Koty Airspun. I like this, but I hate the smell of it. It works beautifully, like really, really well. Tarte always raves about it. And for good reason, because like I said, it does a great job. I just don't like that it smells like baby powder. That drives me nuts. And for high end, I'm going to go in with the Laura Mercier translucent powder. This has a little bit of a yellow undertone to it, but that's something I personally like because I have a warmer undertone. Now, for bronzer, Drugstore, I have the Physicians Formula Bronze Booster. I love it because it's matte. I like satin blushes, but I don't like blushes that I can see, like, glitter. Like, no. No, no, no. Can't stand it. And I'm just going in with this Real Techniques powder brush, I believe is what they call it. I'm warming up this side of my face. And for the high-end side, I'm going in with the Stylist Day All Day Matte Bronzer. As you all know, I love this. And just going in with this Morphe powder brush. For contour, for Drugstore, my Wet n Wild contouring palette. You all know I love this. And I'll do a little bit of contouring. This one and the high-end one that I'm about to show, they're very similar. This one, I like the undertone a little, the Wet n Wild one, I like the undertone better and compared to the high-end one that I have. And for the high-end, I have the Makeup Forever contour palette, technically, because it's contour blush and highlight palette. I don't know what they call it. Anyways, this is the contour shade I'm going to be using. I'll list it down below because I have to like pop it out of the pan. For highlight, I'm going to use the sponge because I didn't have two highlighting brushes. So for the Drugstore, I'm going to be using the Maybelline Master Chrome in Molten Gold. And what I'm doing is I'm taking this and taking the sponge, literally pressing it in. See all that? And then pressing it in to where I want the highlight. This is how I used to always apply, and I loved it, and then I went to a brush for some reason, and I'm not really sure why. But I still really love the way this comes out. It sinks into your skin more. Okay. And for high-end, I'm going to go with the Becca, this is the split pan, and it's the Wild Honey and Prosecco Pop. This is actually the high-end blush I'm going to be using, but this is Prosecco Pop. So, taking Beauty Blender this time, dabbing into it. And to be honest, the Maybelline Master Chrome might be a little bit more blinding. Then for blush, for the high end, I already said that I'm going to be using the Wild Honey blush from Becca Cosmetics. And then for Drugstore, I'm going to be taking the Wet n Wild Mellow Wine blush. This is my favorite blush from Wet n Wild. I love it. And taking a different brush. I'm just taking this dual fiber and for brows, okay, I'm going to be using the Loreal Brow Stylist. This is my favorite drugstore one by far. I like how precise it is. It stays all day. And I really just never have any issues with it. For high end, I'm going to be using the Benefit Goof Proof Brow Pencil. This is in the shade 5. The other one from L'Oreal was Dark Brunette. I like the shade range better for the browns in this because I have a little bit more of an ashier undertone and I feel like a lot of them pull more warm. I do want the precisely my brow in this one, so I don't like that this type of angle doesn't stay like sharp. Alright, on to eyeshadow. So for high end, I'm gonna be using this Nars palette. It's become easily like my favorite ever. Okay, maybe not ever, but I really, really love it right now. And for Drugstore, I'm gonna be taking this Hard Candy Pro palette. And then, because I want to do kind of like a champagne shade, I'm going to be taking the L'Oreal Infallible eyeshadow in Ice Latte. So let's just go ahead and jump right in. We're doing a really simple look, so I'm not too worried about it. Going to be mixing these two shades right here for the transition. Take a little bit of the red shade that's here on the top. Mainly putting this on the outer edge and slightly bringing it in the crease. Yes. And then taking the brown in the palette right here. And that is just going directly on the outer edge. And then, actually just going to use my finger and go into this champagne shade here. Sorry about that, guys. So I finished this side and my camera stopped recording for some reason. This is the drugstore side. What I used was, like I explained before, was the Hard Candy palette. And I went in. I will say they're pretty, like the drugstore one's pretty good. Like they all blended really nice. And this red was the first time I used it. Wow, that's a beautiful shade and pretty pigmented for a drugstore formula. Then I went in with the L'Oreal single shade that I said. The only difference is with this shade and this shade. This one's more like warm champagne, where this is more like icy champagne. That's really the only difference. Then this mascara, I went in with the Flower Beauty Ultimate Mascara. I did 2 coats of this. Here's the wand. It actually changes and for like more like volume and stuff. But I only used this side because the high-end mascara I used was the Drugstore Maneater. And as you can see, they're very similar. I need to just finish up the bottom lash line with mascara. And then the last thing we have is lips. So for lips, Drugstore, I'm using the Liquid Catsuit by Wet n Wild in the shade Gimme Mocha. I like this formula, but it is drying. But it dries down completely matte. Okay. And then for high end, I'm going in with the Kat, detail I really like it, there's nothing left on it. The Kat Von D liquid lipstick in Lolita. I picked this one because it was similar in shade to this one. You're going to see there is a difference, a big difference, but okay. As you see, there is a color difference, but yeah, much good. Okay, setting spray. So I'm going to spray half my face with the Milani Make It Last on the Drugstore side, and then the other half with the Urban Decay All Nighter. And here is the finished look. So as you can see, you can achieve a great look with drugstore makeup. So for the total cost of everything on the drugstore side comes to about $109, $110. The high-end side comes to $366. So major difference in price point. But as you can see, there's not much difference. Drugstore in the past 2 years at least has really stepped up their game. And there's a lot of things I like from drugstore, but there's still many things I like from the high end as well. It just will always draw to me. But drugstore, getting really good. And alright, so this is a completed video. Hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you next time. Bye!